All right, lately, a lot of you guys have been asking for an updated class setup and settings video, so here you go. All right, starting off at the top, my bread and butter, my automaton class. Class setup is the F8 stabilizer, the anesthesia sniper, slate reflector, Zac skeletal, tight grip, on hand, granular for that movement speed, FMJ because we learned that lengthen does nothing for this gun, and then the M1941 hand stop. I've used this class setup for the past 4 or 5 months and I haven't switched it up. Still what almost every competitive player uses, and it's a very good class setup. For secondary, I use the Rat, is the F8 stabilizer, the heavy trigger, lengthened, fabric grip for the ADS speed, fleet and quick, so you're moving your fastest. They decided to ruin the game and switch up the perks, so what I run for my respawn class is fortified, radar, and double time. For the lethal, you're rocking the frag grenade and then the stun grenade as well. The only difference between my two automaton classes, instead of double time on this class, I have ninja for S&D when I'm running around and I don't want to be heard. Next, we have my sniper class rocking the Car 98 with the F8 stabilizer, the VDD REO 2K, VDD 98 for the stock quick scope, on hand, stippled for the initial accuracy and recoil. I mean, you're only shooting one bullet, might as well initially be accurate. FMJ, and then the pistol grip for that sprint to fire time. The pistol is the same, rocking the Rat with the same attachments, fortified, radar, and ninja, and then the frag and stun. And lastly, the MP40 for my subclass. For the most part, we're using the rifle brake, barrel, crosslink 317mm04B, crosslink ISO 1M, crosslink 33mm folding for the stock, brace and quick. You can also use on hand if you choose. I'm using quick on this class, stippled, lengthen, and then the pistol grip as well. The Rat is the same. If you want to, you can put the rifle brake instead of the F8 stabilizer. That's completely up to you. Doesn't really change a lot. And then rocking fortified, radar, and double time with the frag and the stun again. Just like my auto class, the only difference between these two classes is that I'm rocking ninja or that S&D. Anyways, that is it for my class setups. Let's head into the settings. All right, I don't play keyboard and mouse, so we're not going to go over that, but I play on full screen borderless because I tab out a lot. VSync is off. Frame rate limit, I have it at the max that my monitor supports, which is 250. And then make sure you have these during your menu or minimize game down to 60 or 30 so your GPU isn't frying while you're not playing the game. Aspect ratio, automatic. My brightness is set for my monitor. I don't know what this means, but at 2.2 RGB, HDR is automatic. Focus mode is off. I think that's it. Make sure you also have this off. That'll help you get less packet burst when you're playing the game. All right, the next is quality. This is kind of the big one for getting frames. My render resolution is at 100. Dynamic resolution is off. Texture resolution is medium. Texture filter anisotropic is very low. Particle quality is very low. Particle resolution is high. This will help you when you're shooting your gun. You know how there's smoke that comes out of the end of your gun. Usually you can't see through that. If you put this on a high, you'll be able to see through that a lot better. I leave my bullet and impact sprays on. Shader quality is low. Tessellation is off. Level of detail distance is long. Nearby level of detail is high. Distance level of detail is high. Clutter draw distance short. Volumetric quality level is low. Screen space shadows is off. Shadow map resolution is very low. Sun shadow cascades is low. Cache sun shadows is on. Cache spot shadows is on. This basically allows your game to store information for future frames. It gives you more frames. Let's just put it at that. I have the cache size at high. The spot shadow quality at low. Particle lighting at low. Ambient occlusion is off. Screen space reflection is off. Then a lot of you guys already know this. Make sure you turn fidelity cast on. I have mine at 85. I feel like that looks the best for me. Some people have it at 100, but you know, just mess with it. Between 80 and 100 is good. Anti-aliasing, I have it on the Filmic SMAA-T2X. I'm not really sure what that means or what the difference is. Depth of field I have off, and then my VRAM usage target is 85%. Lastly, for gameplay, I play on 105 FOV. Make sure you turn your camera movement. I think it's defaulted on 100. Make sure you move that all the way down to least so your screen shakes less. Motion blur is off, weapon motion blur is off, and then the low latency I have on. All right, next is audio. This is going to be a little bit different for you guys compared to me because I have a beacon mix, which is a way to mix my volumes forever. So I control it with a different program. All of these I'm leaving at a default 100. Yeah, it just depends. Just don't blow out your ears. I think the only things I can go over is my hit marker sounds. I have classic. I think that sounds the best. Audio mix, I use headphones. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't really think there's any other settings to go over in audio. All right, lastly, we'll go over my controller settings. I play on an Xbox Elite Series 2 controller with a 66.75 ADS speed. So that means I play on 6.6 regularly. but when I ADS, it's 0.75. I don't have anything on my high zooms, so that's just 0.1 when it goes to like snipers and whatnot. I play stick and move flipped, which basically, if you look on the right, just means I jump with my right stick and I also shoot with my bumpers. At the end of the day, you can use whatever you want as long as it works for you, and this is what works for me. These are all on standard. My aim response curve type, I play on dynamic. That has worked the best for me in the past few games. This is something that most people probably don't have. In Cold War, the sensitivity transition timing, so that basically means when I start to ADS, instead of it instantly being 0.75, now it is gradually, and in Cold War, it was the same. So at the beginning of this game, I had switched it to gradual. Everything else is default, I think. I don't really mess with my trigger dead zones because, I mean, I'm throwing stuns and grenades. I don't really need it to be fast. If you shoot with your triggers, I would make this number as low as possible without it triggering when you don't want it to, if that makes sense. My left and right stick min input dead zone is 5 and 4. You want these numbers to be as low as possible without getting any stick drift. So if I could have this at 1-1, I would. Anything below 5 is good. Anything above 5, you probably want to look at getting a new controller. Left stick max input dead zone, I have at 60. This basically just makes it so I have to push my left stick less to get the maximum output. For me, this works better because I get into my tack sprint, into my sprints faster. And then my right stick, I have at 99. For gameplay, obviously, I'm using aim assist and ADS aim assist. I don't use weapon mount, so that's default. This is default, default, default. This is a movement setting that you want to use to reduce dead slides. You put this on partial, and then you turn both of these off. Partial, off, off, and this will help with dead slides. This game is so hard not to get dead slides when you're playing, but this will help at least a little bit. Cancel stance queuing, I think this is default. When it comes to automatic sprint, I have mine off. I'm gonna make a video about this in the future, but in my opinion, as a main AR, as somebody who uses an AR a lot, ATS in this game is actually terrible. If you're a sub, feel free to run this, but in my personal opinion, if you're an AR, you actually are better without ATS on. Sprint cancels reload, I have this off. Sprinting door bash on. Parachute auto deploy, I don't know why I'm going over that. For slide behavior, I have tap. Sprint tactical sprint behavior, I have toggle. ADS behavior, I think everything else is default. Give me a sec. Yeah, everything else is default. Anyways, that's it for my class setups and settings. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like if you do, and I will see you tomorrow. Deuces.